So I got to do a lot of things, and in the process, I understood ukuthi, you know what? I'm going to fail this man if I don't go out there and build something of my own. If I do not leave his kingdom and go build something on my own, I would have failed. Because if I stay and overstay, right? If I overstay, it's like now what he was trying to teach me is failing because I have not become a person. I have not become a man that can stand on his own. This is a business relationship, right? But for the fact that he got me when I was a young dude, right? That he probably sees himself in if he doesn't go a certain way, he's gonna go another route. Gives me a lot of work. It just so happens I actually accept this tons of work. And at the end is like, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna stay? Because you can stay, I can pay you. You can be a high paid executive. You know what I mean? But for me, I was like, no.
You've got what it takes.
Yeah. Let me show you what I learned. And let me show you what I learned. And the first show you is me. Right? And then the next show you is him. I know you can pay me. It's cool. I know you can pay me, but again, I'm gonna go risk it. So now you're risking as an adult.
You're already used to the risking.
Now I'm trying. Like it have been broke so many times. Yeah. I have been broke so many times. And trying would I.
So what business do you start after leaving? 10 years later, you are equipped, you are trained. What business do you get into?
Okay. At the first time I left and started a Billboard company. Right? I started a Billboard company. And it was a wall mural. What's
that? Township. Can you explain it? Wall mural.
It's township wall mural advertising. So what happens is that you basically negotiate with the landlords, and then when they agree, you can paint advertising
on the outside.
Yeah.
Okay, I've seen those. Those.
So then you'd have someone that paints at least that way. So you don't have you don't print, and they don't tear it down. It's painted on the wall. So I started that one. You lost
money. Someone scammed you.
It's not really a scam. It's just, these guys.
So these guys.
Yeah, in a way with him. So these guys said, they came to me. I left. I used to work with them. So I left the company.
These are your partners, basically.
Yeah, no, they were my colleagues. Yeah. So
within your new company.
Well, within the previous company. And that I used to be boss.
Your mentor's company. Yeah.
So and then when I bailed, I said, okay, I'm gonna go and do this, and they said, okay, cool. One of them were salespeople, and then they said, cool, and then one came to me and was like, no, we like what you're doing, so we'd like to get into it. I'm like, okay, cool. So like, okay, they're gonna be like sales people or something. They're gonna be sales, and I'm gonna do the actual painting of the walls. Well, not me, but
you handle the operations.
Yeah, the operations. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then they went and got this deal, right? He was a little man. They got this deal, and then they jumped me and went to the person that does the artwork, and then they completely got me out. I didn't know until like several years later this is what happened, because this guy came back, the artist. He came back and told me, no, he's actually been dealing with like gambling habits and this is what happened. And those guys went and built a company that's still in existence and actually good for them, But I learned from it.
That was expensive school fees.
It was. You know what I mean? It was. I'm like, oh, okay, fair enough.
Should have been paying attention. You should have noticed. You should have been on the board.
In retrospect. Retrovision is 2020. Something like that. What you see clearly after something is done. You understand? And And a lot of such things happened, not to where I was sort of like outsmarted or someone sort of like, shashayed or whatever it is. But you get to actually lose a lot of money along the way. I understand. And I thought at some point you actually stop making mistakes. I thought, there's a point in your life where you actually literally stop mistakes because you've learned so much. And there is no point where you stop making mistakes. It just doesn't happen. Because when you stop making mistakes, it means you're not trying anything new. And when you're not trying anything new, it means you're not learning. When you're not learning, you're not growing. Which means if you really want to be the kind of person that doesn't make mistakes at all, just keep doing what you're doing. And even then, you're gonna make mistakes, but they're gonna be tiny mistakes that are not worth it. You know what I mean? But growing, right? Growing requires that you move. You're constantly on the move. Because even that incident, I was like, oh, okay, fair. That happened. So I went on to start something called I Create, We Create, right? After the Wall Mural Company thing. I wanted to start something called I Create to Create. And then I Create to Create, what I've realized, like I said, remember when I went to a AAA, was that here I am a township dude and I'm in a white environment, and they sort of not understand, and I believe that I'm very talented. And I'm like, there's so many young people in the hood that are like me, but they will never see the light of day inside an advertising agency because, first of all, the schooling system is built to push them out in a way, and also the agencies do not come to the hood. They're not going to come and say, hey, it's for our creatives. No, they can't, So I wanted to build a conduit between creatives in the hood and advertising agencies, and it was called I Create, We Create. And then it went well because some people were identified and some people went on to actually build proper careers in Eland in advertising. And this was it was a sort of like a conference, right? So I would bring in advertising agencies and I'll bring in creatives and say, guys, come exhibit your stuff. And then the agency bosses would come and just hang out and see people were singing, you know what I mean? And a number of really professional people right now were there in that, right? So that was I Create, We Create. And I did that whole business here, mural, whatnot, of advertising, mural advertising. I ditched it. And then I continued. And after that, as I was doing that, the same crop man saw me, you know what I mean? Because I had quit. And then he saw me. I think I'd spent at the time, probably maybe 5 or 6 years apart. And then he called me, and I think I spent like 3 years. And then he called me in to come assist him with something. And then I went back, right, for like 1 or 2 years, assisting, And then Mara Kona Lindo le na witness, bro. Kona that thing that says, yes, it's okay, you're here, but you're not done. You know what I mean? Like you're not doing what you're supposed to. You're doing what you have to, but you're not doing what you're supposed to. You understand? So, yeah, years we took a sharp and then I went back, I did some work. I did some work, and then I eventually decided the last time, which was about 3 or 4 years ago, because it was sort of like a consultancy in it, it was a different arrangement. But at the time I was like, I'm giving myself 2 years, right? So I said to myself, I'm giving myself 2 years, and then I'm eventually going to quit. I don't know what I'm going to do afterwards, but I'm going to quit.